Hey guys, it's Tiqqle, and we're going to go over my UI in this video, something that's been asked about in the comments a bunch of different times. It's kind of surprising me because this is probably the simplest UI I've had in a very long time, starting way back in the middle of Legion when I came out with my first video. So let's go through it. I will go through all the different sections, starting with the general add-ons, the Weakauras setup that I have, which includes Azeroth traits, skills, and my Maelstrom bar, which is very important, and then into the PvP items. We'll go through each of them individually. All right, guys, the first thing I'm going to go over is the Blizzard default UI settings that I have. First of all, in your raid frames, if you have someone in your party, you can come over here and you can click this eye, because there's been a lot of questions about how do you even get this for your party? So go over here, click the eye. And this brings up this interface panel. Basically, what you want to do is you want to say use raid frame party frames, raid style party frames. This goes ahead and makes it into what you see here. And then you can do other things related to displaying class colors. I like seeing the power bars, which are mana, rage, energy, those types of things. You can also do things, I believe, like percentages and all of that jazz. But that's, and here it is. Okay, health loss, health remaining, etc. I have health percentage to see the percentage of HP, to see when they're in execute range and stuff like that. Do width, you can do height, and that's how you basically set this up. A lot of healers have it pretty big, all that jazz. So that's pretty much how I set this up for my party, for arena, for PvP, for PvE. And then basically how you move it around is you click unlock, and you can drag this, and if you drag it close, it'll snap, and then it's part of that. So when I go into PvE rating, I'll put it over here. When I go into PvP, I pull it out. So that's how you probably have seen most PvPers do that, and I just want to make sure everybody knows that's how you do it for this. Now, the other thing is, okay, hey, Tiqqle, you have, what's your bars? Well, these are actually Blizzard bars, and they don't really tell you, or they haven't mentioned this because you didn't used to be able to do this, but if you right-click them, you can go down to Move Frame, and it probably says Locked. You can unlock them, and then you can just drag them. So I've gone ahead and pulled mine down here. Oh, how did I get my buffs on top? Well, if you right-click, you can go to Move Frame, Buffs on the top, and that's how you place the buffs on the top. Now, otherwise, you can, I mean, this is also the same for the Focus Frame, which you can move around as well, buffs on top, etc. Next add-on we'll talk about is Details. Details is a damage tracking, healing tracking, debuff tracking, everything tracking add-on that's pretty incredible, almost like an upgrade of Recount. It even does things like buff uptime, which basically can show me how long my Azeroth traits have been up. You can see Lava Shock's been up forever, 91% of the time. You can link things, put things, basically the normal what you expect, but it's really pretty a great add-on, and you can usually do compare against other Ellies or other of the same class to see, oh, they did it this many times, all that jazz. So it's pretty great. Next is Tidy Plates Continued. I've gotten a lot of questions about this because the Tidy Plates add-on that used to be part of Legion and Wrath and Mop and all that stuff, it was basically discontinued, and now someone had released a Tidy Plates Continued add-on, but when I look into Curse and I look on the Twitch add-on, I can't find it, guys. Otherwise, there's some other add-ons like KUI, and some other frames, but this is my favorite, which is Tidy Plates, where we can see debuffs above the enemy nameplates. Definitely my favorite. Slow durations and everything go up there. Another thing to note for this add-on is to make sure that it's live, you can click Alt-V, which will turn on and off enemy nameplates. Control-V will turn on friendly all nameplates, and even that includes friendlies. Next is True GCD. What this add-on does is, you can see in the top left, it shows you every button I press. It's by far one of the most useful add-ons for watching someone play the game. You can be able to see, oh, he flame shocks, and then he uses a lightning bolt, and then he uses, you know, lava burst, and then he flame shocks. Oh, and then he goes to cast and he fakes, and he casts and he fakes. So you can, in PvP environment, you can really get an understanding of what that burst window looks like. And even if you play it back, you're able to look, oh, this is how they're doing it. This is literally the buttons that they're pressing. Next is an add-on called Azeroth Tooltip. This was recommended on Beluar's guide, I believe. But what it does is if you go into your gear and you highlight your pieces, you're able to see what the Azeroth traits are. I found this incredibly useful as I'm carrying pretty much infinity Azeroth pieces right now, and I don't want to put it on, open it up. Okay, nope, not that one. Okay, put it on, open it up. Oh wait, what one was I just looking at? It gets all shuffled around. So I would recommend getting this so you can quickly, and I'm holding down Alt, by the way, so I can see all the other shoulder slots. I'm like, oh, which one do I want? Okay, here's the ones that are possible, etc. Oh, this is the one I want, dagger in the back. Another add-on I have is called Quartz. It's a casting bar add-on to replace Blizzard's default frames. And what this does is it does all of your casting bars, and you're able to customize them however you want. The size, the width, the length, all that stuff. Do the same for your target. So like I'll target myself and I'll cast. So the big bar is me. The bar above that is my target. And then I can also do focus. So I'll focus myself and I'll cast something. And I made this a huge bar underneath my name so that I can really know when they're casting and be alerted of that. I might even make that even bigger. But that's what I use this for. So I can place this anywhere. I can place the focus one above my head to see when sheeps are happening or see when anything like that. And this is incredibly useful in PvP. But it's also useful in PvP. I use my focus kick macro very often in PvE when there's a mob casting and I need to know when it's casting and interrupt. It's definitely useful, so recommend for both PvE and PvP. Next, World Quest Tracker. This is an add-on that shows you what all of the different world quests will give you basically by looking at them. And you can also, there's also filters at the bottom. I don't really use those, but what I usually do is I zoom out to this map and I say, okay, I need some more resources. So let me see. Oh, here's one. It's a kill quest. I'll go do it. Here's one. Or if there's a specific rep that I need. Oh, I need the expedition. Let me look. Oh, that one is. Okay, let's go do those. And then let's go over here. So I can kind of plan it out. And then I can go into the zone and say, hey, Azerite power, I need that. Let's go there. So it's definitely an easy way to route it. Previously, I was just highlighting them over and over, and I would forget, and I would check, and I'm just iterating and iterating. So this is a very useful add-on to know what's going on in the world of war quests. Next, I just want to give a shout out to Deadly Boss Mods. Always a useful add-on. I definitely recommend if you're doing any type of PvE, especially if you are joining those LFRs. You don't want to be a nuisance or something to be carried. So this will definitely help you know what's going on in an easy way. I also have Too Long Didn't Read guides for most of the mythics right now and some of the raid encounters, so definitely peep those out. Pawn is I'll start with Pawn. Pawn is an add-on that once you get it set up appropriately, and I also have a video on that in the description, you'll be able to see, oh, hey, look, this is a huge upgrade. It says even in the bottom of highlighting an item that has a green arrow, okay, Elemental will get a plus 6% increase. Oh, Resto is a plus 13%. So it does across all your specs, so you're able to kind of monitor what gear you have and what it's useful for. Simcraft requires you to type in /simc, and what it does is it gives you a lot of text, and you can take that text to raid bots and sim your character based on all your items in your inventory and all of your talents and everything that's already set up on your character. And now onto the Weakauras setup. I believe Weakauras can be confusing to those that are just picking it up, so I want to review some of the different items that I've set up. Big shout out, by the way, to Notes. Notes is usually the one that I use their add-ons and Weakauras setup for. But in this expect, I'm trying to just reduce the amount of add-ons that I have in the middle of my screen. So, but again, if you guys are looking for a full built-out kit, go check out Notes. He has a sweet Weakauras setup. I will give you the link in the description. But for what I'm using now, what I'm using is mainly, let's start at the top, the Maelstrom tracking Weakaura. This Weakaura is tracking my Maelstrom above my head. What it does is it allows me to know when I have 60 Maelstrom, which is a critical point. We know we can Earthshock at that time. And it also lets me get to 100 or when I'm getting close to cap. It's huge for keeping track of my DPS and being able to Earthshock and even Earthquake whenever needed in Mythic Pluses. I also have a set of add-ons in the middle. Let's focus on that next, which is my Trinket. I have a Trinket, Will of the Loa. What you'll be able to do is with the strings that I give you in the description, you'll be able to import this, and you can even go to Trigger and replace the name of this with whatever the buff is that you get from whatever your Trinket is, if you're using a different Trinket. So it's definitely useful to keep track of when you have that up, especially with a primary stat Trinket. I'm also using a Lava Shock tracking Weakaura, which will basically track the number of stacks of a buff. When in this case, it's my Azerite trait, incredibly important for LE and PvP. The next three are that are important for PvP, having to do with my Shear, which is my Interrupt, my Flame Shock, which is on 6-second cooldown, and Nature's Guardian, which is a huge defensive. That's good to be aware of when that's up or not. You know, it'll basically tell me when I'm going to die or not. And for these, I have two Weakauras set up. One is for the actual ability when it's ready to be used. The other is when it's on cooldown and the countdown related to that cooldown. So again, all of this is in the description. I just wanted to walk through this so you guys can see it. To modify any of these, and I've copy and pasted these a bunch of times, you just need to go into Trigger and put in the ability name. This I could change to Lava Burst. I could change this to Flame Elemental. I could change it to anything. And that's how you customize Weakauras in an easy way. Take what someone else has done and easily iterate on it. So I recommend you guys do that as needed. Now into PvP add-ons. First, healers have to die. What this does is in Battlegrounds, it puts a healing icon above any of the healers in the battleground. What this does is if you target them, it will make a small ding noise, but it will really clearly outline without targeting a healer where they are. And those are the people you gotta blast. So definitely check that out. The next add-on is Battleground Enemies. Battleground Enemies tracks all the battleground targets on the other team on the right side of your screen. This allows you to quickly and easily track where stealthers are, if they're out of stealth, if they're not, and be able to identify where healers are across the map, especially in Arathi Basins or very wide and open maps where people may be very spread out. And it's very useful to just call targets, and you can see, oh, this is a mage. Oh, this is a priest. Oh, this is Johnny Wilkenheimen. So those are the ones that are very useful for targeting basically healers and easy ways to switch onto them in Battlegrounds. And I'm sure everyone's heard of Gladius. Gladius being an arena add-on that tracks trinkets and DRs. Lastly is Omnibar. Omnibar is an add-on which allows you to track the spells and abilities, and it's very widespread, of enemies in PvP and when they're on cooldown. So if an enemy uses a certain cooldown, you'll be able to see that timer on your screen. This allows you to be able to know when certain abilities will be coming available again soon. This is very important for healers specifically, knowing when a rogue has kick or when a shaman has wind shear, so that they know if they need to fake cast or not. And guys, that's the UI video. There's been a lot of questions about my UI, and now you have all the details that you could need to replicate this. If you guys have awesome UIs that you would like to show me, please link them to me in Discord. I'm always looking for new ideas to make this slick. I'm always looking for new ideas to make it very, very clean and easy, and also share those with you. So if anyone has any recommendations about other add-ons that are extremely useful in PvE or PvP right now, please share them in the comments. We will have additional videos coming up, including macro and PvP guide for Ellie. So stay tuned, guys, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.